The FedLife podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve. Ed Zerndorfer is our guest and federal benefits expert in the space.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the FedLife podcast. If you're a regular, you know who I am. I'm your host, Dan Sipe. There's some of the branch manager here at Serving Those Who Serve and Lee Sipe and Associates. I am going to begin as I always do, but even more so right now, by saying thank you. Number one, thank you for taking the time to watch or listen to this. But above all, thank you for your service to the government, to the country, to me, to everyone. You do not hear that enough, but you're always going to hear it here. You know, it's funny. I had a great idea and then reality intruded. I was thinking about all the feds that now have to go back to work that are commuting into DC. And I said, hey, wow, what if I went out and I got 100 big signs to put on overpasses to say, thank you, feds, we love you, from Serving Those Who Serve. Isn't that a nice idea? You know, that's illegal. I didn't know that was illegal. So it's a good thing I looked it up first. So my heart was in the right place, but I wasn't quite ready to end up going to the pokey over that. But again, thank you. You don't hear it enough. You especially don't hear it right now, but you're always going to hear it here. The other thing you're always going to hear, my buddy, Ed Zerndorfer. The guru is here once again as part of our ongoing mission. You know what it is. Say it with me. To reach, teach, and serve you, the career civilian Fed. So once again, we're following Ed's Fed Zone articles. And this one is really kind of neat, but I think it also fits the times. Because Ed, we're in some pretty challenging time for feds right now. So this article is on brand for you because you are an accountant, you are an enrolled agent, you have a terrific tax background and mind. So this is the time of year writing about taxes. But I see another tie-in here. If we could have folks separating for service, things like that, maybe getting refunds a little bit sooner might be of help. So hear me out. The IRS is encouraging folks to set up online accounts with PINs. So hear me out on this with the possibility of VEROS, maybe even a furlough when the current continuing resolution expires. This might be a good step for feds to get their taxes filed and get their refunds a bit sooner. So Ed, you begin with the advantages and the features of that online account. So this is your area. Take us through it, sir.
Yes, thanks, Dan. Yes, we are living in challenging times if you're a federal employee, but I will tell you, you still have to get your 2024 federal income taxes filed. Deadline again is April 15, 2025. We're off to a running start here. I've done probably about 5 returns so far, and things are going
They're
sooner.
getting money back. If they're filing that early, they're getting money back.
They're getting money back. They're getting,
Yes.
or they have to file, applications for scholarships for college. They got to get a copy of their tax return. Let me just mention one of the things I asked my new clients to do. And I gotten a few new clients this year, that before I prepare your 2024 tax return, I need a copy of your 2023 tax return. They say, well, how do I get that? Well, who did your taxes? Well, I had another preparer. I don't remember getting a copy of the return. Well, they should have given you a copy of the return. Can you contact that person? They say, no, unfortunately he died. Or he's no longer working. He left the country. He retired. Well, I guess you'll have to somehow find a way to get a copy of that return. Now, IRS has a form to fill out to get a copy return. I think it's IRS form 4506, but here's the point. It's going to take forever to get that form. You get fill out the form, submit it for IRS to send you a paper copy of the return. This would not happen if you set up what's called an online, you set up your own online IRS account with a password. It's fully protected. Now, some of the features of this online account, I'm just going to go through a few of these then. You can access your tax records. Let's say you filed this year's taxes, and you'd like to see how much interest you earned or how much dividends you got last year. You're very curious. With your online account, you can view what's on the tax return. You can actually view your tax return. What is actually, when the IRS received it, they put it into the system. You can take a look at it. You can check the status of a tax refund. The IRS has this 800 number. You got to input all kinds of stuff. It takes forever. It's usually shut down. But if you have your online account, you can see the status of your tax refund. In case you get a notice from the IRS, and that comes always in the mail, Dan.
Yep.
And you know how the mail is sometimes.
Yes, they do.
You can actually, on your online account, view your copies of that letter, within your account. Okay? There's something called the Advanced Child Tax Child Tax Credit. You can get information if you're eligible for that about the payments. You can review what your audit status is currently available for certain audits conducted by mail. All right. Now, this is important. When I have a new client, and let's say in the previous year, they've made what's called estimated tax payments. They made estimated tax payments quarterly. They make a quarterly review. The IRS, some people have to pay their taxes through what's called estimated tax payments because they don't have any withholding, or maybe they have insufficient withholding. So they make quarterly estimated tax payments. First quarter, the payment is due in April, second in June, third in September, the fourth is in January. So I asked the client, did you make any estimated tax payments during 2024? I think I did. Well, do you have a record of it? Well, I could go through my checkbook, but I'm not sure. That's going to take time. Well, if you have an online account, there's a record of your estimated tax payment. You can see it. You can see that you made the payment. You make a payment. IRS key in your estimated tax payment. Hopefully you made it digitally, because you can make your estimated tax payments. I try to make mine online. I don't use the mail. I don't believe in the mail. Things get lost in the mail. Okay. So I do it, or I recommend the clients do their estimated tax payments or any other payments to the IRS online. Well, in your online account, you can view the payments right there. Print it out. That's your record.
Gotcha.
In fact, on your online account, it has 5 years worth of payments. All the payments you made to the IRS over the past 5 years are in your account. You have a record of everything. And you can schedule your estimated tax payments on your online account. You can actually go into your account and say, I want to take, let's say you have an online account. The first estimated tax payment for 2025 is due no later than April the 15th, 2025. And I say to the client, well, I said to the client, you owe for the first estimated tax payment $1,000. Gee, and I have until April 15th? I'll worry about it then. No, you don't worry about it then. You have to, because you'll forget. Well, how can I tell the IRS that I'm going to make a payment, and let's say I want to make it on April the 1st? On your account, you say, on April 1st, I want to have $1,000 taken out. You give them the bank account, and they'll take it out on April 1st. That gives enough time for the deadline. You don't want to schedule on April 15th. It's too
Gotcha.
cheap. Okay, but you can schedule the payments, and then you can look at your pending payments and schedule payments. When you file your taxes electronically, you can tell the IRS that if you have a balance due, you can give them the date that you want the money to come out of your account. You got to specify your account. Everything can be done electronically. No paper, Dan. No paper. Everything is done electronically. If you owe a lot of money, you have a balance due, and you can't afford to pay it. Say you file your 2024 taxes, and you owe $13,500. Wow, that's a lot of money. And you know for a fact you don't have $13,500, but you're willing to pay it over a period of time. First of all, file your taxes. Pay whatever you can in terms of the balance due. And check a box saying, IRS, that the IRS will contact you to set up a payment plan. And it's called, I think it's called, they have a certain word for it, but you can actually have IRS over a period of time, let's say 5, 6 months, maybe a year, to have the money
pay installments.
Now you have to owe interest, but you can schedule those payments.
Gotcha.
This way, you're not going to be subject to huge penalties for not paying it. Okay. And at any time you want to look at your tax balance, which you owe, you can go into your account. It'll have the exact amount of what you owe. Everything is done. Okay. You can manage your profile preference, go paperless for certain notices, get email notifications for new account information or activity. And then we're going to talk next about you can obtain an IP PIN. IP stands for Identity Protection Personal Identification Number, and we're going to talk about that next. Everyone should have an IP PIN.
Yep. Now you do mention the agency's encouraging establishing and using those PINs. So tell us about them. What are they?
Ever since, this goes back before COVID, IRS, unfortunately, has been the victim that people have crashed the system, have been able to get into the system, steal refunds, using the individuals stole Social Security numbers. They filed a return using a Social Security number, and they unfortunately got refunds that belonged to somebody else. So it must have been about, I think, 7, 8 years ago, the IRS came up with an idea. Instead of using Social Security numbers on federal tax returns, an individual could obtain their own number, a 6-digit number that had no association whatsoever with their Social Security number. Now, when you apply for the IP PIN, you have to put in your Social Security number, and you'll obtain your IP PIN, and that will be associated with your Social Security number. This way, no one can actually get into your return online and then steal your refund.
Gotcha. That sounds good. So how do our folks go about requesting one?
So you have to, each year the best way to obtain an IP PIN is through your online account. And the process for obtaining the IRS online account is, I talked about it earlier, but the process involved in getting your IP PIN, your identity has to be verified. It may take anywhere from a half hour to an hour to get through this process, but it's well worth it. And if you have a spouse, your spouse files with you jointly. Your spouse has to get his or her own IP PIN. Children who are claimed as dependents have to get their own IP PIN. They also may have income that's going to be reported. And once that IP PIN is obtained, it has to be used. It has to be used both for electronic filing and even for paper returns. There are some people who still do paper, but you have to put your IP PIN on the paper return. So there's information to log into your IRS online account. You go to irs.gov and just put in the keyword online account, and that'll put you, if you set one up, it'll go in there, and then right on your online account will be applying for an IP PIN. My wife and I did it back in December, and every year a new IP PIN has to be applied for. It does not carry from one year to the next.
Gotcha. And you finish up with 5 things our folks need to know about PINs. What are they?
There are the 5 things that you need to know about your IP PIN. Number 1, an IP PIN is valid for 1 calendar year. As I said a few moments ago, for security reasons, new IP PINs are generated at the beginning of each calendar year. Some participants will receive their IP PIN in the mail, while others will have to log on to their online account to view their current IP PIN. Again, we're talking about the online account. This is where you actually can view your IP PIN. Number 2, enrolled individuals can log back into their online account to view their current IP PIN. Again, your IP PIN is always on your online account. 3, individuals with an IP PIN must use it when filing any federal tax return during the year, including prior year returns. If let's say you're going to amend a prior year return, or let's say like now you've got your IP PIN for 2020 for IP PIN for this year's filing, but maybe you forgot to file 2023. You haven't filed your 2023 return. You would use your IP PIN for your 2023 return also.
Gotcha.
And as far back as you have to. Some people haven't filed their 2022, 2021. If you have not filed past returns, there is no statute of limitations. Mm-hmm. Especially if you owe.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're due a refund for tax years going back more than 3 years, you're going to lose it, because there's a statute of limitations for refunds, and that's 3 years from the filing deadline. For example, this coming April 15th, 2025, go back 3 years. So that was April the 15th, 2022. So the 2021 tax return, federal tax returns, my memory serves me correctly, the due date was actually May 17th that year. May 17th, because of COVID, they extended it 1 month. So if you have come May 17th, 2025, you have not filed your 2021 federal income tax return and you're due a refund, you still have to file a return, but you're not going to get the refund. And if you owe, you're going to owe, plus you are going to have to pay interest and penalties.
Yeah, don't want that.
Right.
We don't want that.
Don't want that.
Ed, once again, great article, going places where other orgs just aren't going. So thank you so much for doing that. You're always such an amazing resource. And folks, we know what you're going through. We're here in it with you, and we're going to be here every day, searching for, compiling, and providing the information that you need, okay, to make the best decisions possible. Folks, that is a wrap. We are serving those who serve. Now more than ever, subscribe. 8,000 of you are listening on a monthly basis. We see you, but only about 20% of you subscribe. Subscribe. That way you'll know when our latest comes out. Do that on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you consume. Share it with your friends, strangers. Throw in an enemy, you might make a new friend. Don't forget our live webinars every single week. We do one on taxes. We got jokers out there saying, "Oh, we have 1 3-hour webinar that covers everything you need." Yeah, sure. That's like the older I get, the more doctors I have, because I know the importance of those specialists. So we've got something on everything there. So we've got one on taxes. Check out those live webinars every single week. Just go to sjwserve.com. You'll see the webinar button. Click it. You'll see the whole menu. You get the guru coming to you where you are. Reach you where, teach you where, and above all, serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all. Share those with your friends. They'll really thank you. Read Ed every single week in the Fed Zone. That's fed-zone.com or at blog.sjwserve.com. You can find him there. I will sign off as I always do by saying good luck, Godspeed, and above all, now more than ever, it's your Fed life. Do the things necessary to make it a great one because you deserve it, and we're here to help you do that. Stay well, everybody. We are out.